Hey, I'm JR.
And I'm Mike from the 18 Over Par with Mike and JR podcast.
Welcome to Season 4 of the pod, where we'll continue exploring the sights, stories, and sounds of golf on the prairies, where you'll find some of the most golf courses per capita of anywhere in the world, and maybe we'll even drink some more beer this season.
That's right, JR. More beer.
It's the 18 Over Par podcast with Mike and JR.
You suck, you jackass.
Welcome to 18 Over Par with Mike and JR, proudly presented by Bryce Matlashewski, who is an investment advisor with Endeavor Wealth Management, part of IA Private Wealth, and a member of the Canadian Investor Protection Fund. You can contact Bryce at 204-515-3446. I'm JR, he's Mike, and today we have a special recording live from Fourth Line Virtual Golf on the corner of Ness Ave and Sturgeon Road in beautiful St. James. We sit down with Barry Gibson of Over 50 Golf. He's one of the top PGA of Canada teaching professionals, and all winter you can find him at Fourth Line Virtual Golf. We found ourselves down at Fourth Line Virtual Golf again on the corner of Ness Avenue and Sturgeon Road in beautiful sunny St. James, and it is sunny today.
It's hot. It's
Holy
hot.
smokes. We were sitting right in front of the window here at Fourth Line Virtual Golf, and we are cooking. We were talking about doing it shirtless. I think Barry proposed that.
For sure.
Yeah.
Just like the golf course.
That's right. We're getting our UV rays today. Our vitamin D. We haven't been outside in weeks. We're getting the vitamin D.
Oh, we're getting all of it.
It's important.
And enjoying it. But it's always a beautiful temperature inside here for Fourth Line Virtual Golf. Both bays are full.
Yeah.
We got the Pocket Bay, we got the Rockets Bay, and they got the GC Falcons going. And Barry does teaching out of here. He's also PGA of Canada professional, so we'll get into that.
Yeah. And looking at the players that we're seeing today, I think a lot of them could use Barry's help. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see a few holidays from Maui building here looking at this crew.
Just cha-ching, cha-ching,
Yeah.
cha-ching.
Yeah.
And we also have some beer. What are you drinking, Mike?
Oh, this is the Fourth Line Lager, I think. Whatever that is, it's probably just...
It's good.
I think they poured it through a sock. I'm just kidding. It's pretty tasty.
Yeah.
One of Lenny or Ted's socks,
Yeah.
which, by the way, a couple months ago we were here. We did a live show, and so you can catch that one.
Yes.
We're everywhere. We're on YouTube. We're on Amazon. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple. We're
MySpace.
everywhere. You can catch us on MySpace. And even our Linktree. You can check out our Linktree, and that's where you can find out some more information about Fourth Line Virtual Golf on how you can book a tee time, as well as Over 50 Golf from Barry and his wife. Some fantastic content from that. And our beautiful and lovely Bryce Matlashewski, who's been supporting the show for 3 seasons. That's 3 years now. Bryce Matlashewski has been on board, and he is an investment advisor with Endeavor Wealth Management, part of IA Private Wealth, and a member of the Canadian Investor Protection Fund. You can contact Bryce at 204-515-3446. Again, all of his information is in our Linktree. Just go to our Facebook or Instagram or MySpace, click on our bio, and you will find all of that information there. And we're here for Barry. Barry's drinking a Nonzi. That's actually really good. The Heineken Double Zero.
Yeah. I'm a professional athlete, so I'm looking after
That's
myself.
right.
here.
Yeah. Take care of the body.
Well, first, I think you suggested you want to get some waters or something. We're like, sure. We come back with a couple beers, and Barry's got the water and the
Got the
Double
Heine
Zero.
Zero going.
That might have been my fault. Yeah. It's Saturday.
It's Saturday.
It's Christmas.
It's Christmas.
yeah,
And
exactly.
it's very wonderfully decorated here as well. We
Beautiful.
got the Christmas tree. We got the Christmas lights. We got all the sports games.
Yeah.
We
The
got hockey. We got
hockey, golf,
golf. So we got 2 sports.
pickleball.
We got it all. But we're here for golf first and foremost. And Barry, so happy to have you on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, how exactly did you get into golf?
Well, I started, probably about 80 years ago. Actually, no. I'm 63, but I started as, when I was about 6 or 7 years old. My dad was a golfer. He was a member at Pine Ridge. And we lived in Charleswood. And at the time, my brothers and I weren't really into golf. We were playing a lot of other sports. We're like playing football, baseball, basketball, hockey, doing all that, kids sort of stuff. And he would bribe us, say, come on up to the golf course, I'll buy you a cheeseburger and, a milkshake and that. And we kind of slowly got into it. But it was my dad's influence that got us into it.
Yeah. As in most cases, food gets the juniors excited for golf.
Cheeseburgers and milkshakes. I remember those at Pine Ridge. They were pretty awesome.
Well, even here we had some nachos that walked by, and they smelled delicious. So we got the Silver Fox here, Dave Alberton. He runs the show. You can't miss him as soon as you walk into Fourth Line Virtual Golf. He was up cleaning our spillage earlier. So
oh yeah, he runs this place like a ship, like a Navy ship.
And we didn't give a shout out to Timmy G yet. He's in his full Christmas attire. Timmy G, shout out to Timmy.
He's got his flippers on.
He's got his sandals
his
on.
Indoor
so he's in
golf
fine
sandals
form for the golf season.
Yeah.
So how would you recommend that then, Barry, being a PGA teaching professional, golfing in flip-flops?
No, I wouldn't recommend that at all. Bare feet is better. Actually, you get a little bit more support.
Timmy's holding up his sandal.
Yeah.
There's grip on the sandal. Yeah, it's a textured.
Is it a FootJoy? What is it?
Michelin.
Oh, it's a Michelin.
Yeah.
That's the winter one though, right? That's the winter grip.
3-star Michelin sandals.
Very impressive.
Fourth Line is a Michelin restaurant as well.
It's close enough.
But so you start young. When do you get serious with golf? When do you
It took, it took a few years. I think 2 or 3 years of kind of farting around, young kids doing a lot of different stuff. And then he bought us a membership at Charleswood Golf Course. So we lived in Charleswood, so we could ride our bikes there.
Tell us a little bit about Charleswood Golf Course, because I never played there, and then they made the bridge. And
what is it now? What is that parkway called now? Something Ernie Clement, Bill Clement.
Yeah, Clement Parkway and that.
Something like that. But that was Charleswood, correct?
Yeah, it was a really cool, old school 9-hole golf course. Right. I remember the pro there, Tommy Chester, old Scottish pro, great. Yeah, he was a club builder. He used to build clubs for Eaton's way back in the day.
Wow.
And he's probably one of the reasons why I got into it, because, he'd be always telling us kids, stories about, the wild days there with all the partying with the celebrities and the lawyers and judges and talking about building clubs for Eaton's.
Well, tell us some of those stories.
Yeah, they were pretty good. Little kids with their eyes bugged out going like, wow, this is... But, his stories about the club building and that really intrigued us. Building clubs from hand and things like that. And he was a real old school golf pro.
Old school. Is that where you maybe would have picked up a few things like tips and tricks? Well, maybe before we get into over 50 golf, we'll kind of talk a little bit about the journey becoming to where you are today. So did you compete as a junior? What kind of made you decide to become a professional?
I think, starting out just hanging around the golf course there with him telling the stories, and then he was a club builder, and I'd be watching him work on golf clubs there. And next thing you know, I was a young kid. I was maybe 12 years old, and, he'd be putting a broom in my hand. I wasn't an employee, but hey, you know what? Clean up the floor here while you're watching.
I thought maybe as a golf swing tip. I don't know,
well, he did a little bit. He did a lot of that too. He gave me some pretty cool tips to start with. But watching him build clubs, and then he would show me how to do some stuff. Like at a young age, he had me I was teaching me to put grips on clubs and do whipping and.
Whipping? What's
like on the neck of the old wood clubs and that, and like the fishing line and stuff like that. And I think that kind of piqued my interest, and then. As I went along from there, I was kind of a student of the game. Started playing more, and then back then there was no YouTube, right, or Instagram or anything. You had to go down to the library and get a book.
What?
Yeah, you actually read a book. It was so you.
That's how Mike gets on the internet now.
Yeah.
He goes to the library.
I still go to the library. Yeah, they got a good deal there.
So you go. So I'd be going down there getting books, from Arnold Palmer and Sam Snead and Ben Hogan, and reading about the golf swing and that. And it was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yes. I remember doing book reports, or you got to do an essay on something, and you have to go to the library and take out 6 books, and then you just plagiarize them and then write them.
But then you had to, what's the
you reference them or note them.
Back at the very the
you
last
had to
page.
read.
Yeah, you had to read, and then you had to say where exactly you found
Yeah.
it, and there was this whole way to, gosh, I forget how you pronounce that now, or not pronounce it, how you even say the word, what the word is. But anyways, we're just podcasters. We don't care about linguistics.
But were you competing in Golf Manitoba events?
Yeah, I
back
started
then?
out. You start playing some of at the time there was a lot of interclub competitions.
Yeah,
You know, played a lot of that. That was a lot of fun. And there was always, like, back then, too, there was always, like, club opens going on. Like, you know, junior opens and men's opens and ladies opens. And it was like a regular circuit. Every weekend you could go to another club somewhere.
Right.
A lot of the rural clubs and, you know, play for $5 in a tournament.
Wow.
And you start competing against other players and that. And it was a lot of fun.
So did you play with like the big boys then as a junior, or did you just? Or was it
You
just
know what?
more
I was
juniors?
kind of an average player at the time coming
Okay.
up, and that started to have some success, but got interested in it and started playing in the junior and things like that. So
I don't want to age any of us. Were there? Who would have been some of the names you were going up against in
at that
those
time,
grades?
Yeah.
I think the big guns would have been Daryl McDonald. He ended up being a pro in Winnipeg, and then he's out in Alberta. I think he's retired now as a club professional.
Okay.
Matt Paleschuk, he was a big golfer back then. Terry Hashimoto,
Oh, Hash.
he was starting to come up there. You know, Hashi was starting to come up. There was quite a few.
And now he's got lawsuits from every league under his belt. Every professional league under his belt.
Is that
Terry
right?
Hashimoto, yeah. Well, he's talking about that when he was on the podcast. Mike,
Right.
if you remember, you were there.
That was so
Was
long
that
ago.
season 3?
Yeah.
I can't remember. Season 2, season 3. Anyway.
my-
Hashi,
Terry
he's
Hashimoto.
he was a great player.
Yeah.
Hashi was tour level.
My,
Yes.
Yeah,
my
he was-
brain's gone to hash now.
Yeah. No, he was a tour level player, and
And a character.
real good character. Golf scientist, you know. He's
You follow him, I'm sure,
yeah.
on
I've known
Instagram.
Terry.
He's still going.
I've known Terry for years. I did a lot of business with him when I had my golf store downtown with Jazz Golf and that. And
Okay.
you know what? Terry was always an innovator, and he was never afraid to speak his mind.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah, we got that. We got that from the podcast. So that was,
yeah, for sure.
That was good. So what age did you, maybe not what age, but when did you decide to become a professional? When did you decide to make this a career?
I started working in the golf shop at a young age, about 12 years old, you know, cleaning clubs and that. And then worked up into the front shop, 15, 16 years old, you know, closing the shop for the pro and doing that. And I always did that. Then when I went to university, I kept working at the golf course because it's a pretty fun job in the summertime, right?
It's a great job.
You know, you're going to school, you're playing golf, and just kind of got my business degree and just graduated into it and just kept going into it. You know, enjoyed the business of being at the club and the teaching and being around the people, and just kind of walked into it.
What was the process like at that time to get your card?
The apprenticeship was pretty long back then.
Okay.
It took about 7 years.
7 years.
7 years. Holy shit. You
Yeah,
become a
the-
doctor. You're
Yeah, without the doctor's pay or the
Doctor.
intelligence. Sometimes you wonder
Dr.
why you get
Gibson.
into the golf business, but it was a lot of fun. But yeah, it was a long apprenticeship. Your apprenticeship was about, you know, to get your Class A was about 4 to 5 years, but often would take about 7 years. There was a lot of work study, course study, you know.
Was there any, post-secondary, you know, a lot of the pros now will go to these community colleges or colleges that'll offer these golf business courses. Was there any of that?
It wasn't mandatory at that time. A lot of people still did. You know, you went to school anyway because you wanted to better yourself. But there was a lot of, learning courses and modules through the PGA of Canada, and you had to complete those every year. You know, there was club building, there was rules, there was playing, there was etiquette, there was course management, gas cart management. Though it was pretty
Right.
comprehensive.
Right.
And, I remember my Class A exam. I was about an 8-hour exam.
8 hours?
A full day at
Come
St.
on.
Charles. Yeah.
How are you not a doctor?
Yeah.
And that's written or that's
That was written.
including playing? Or?
That was written.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah,
8 hours.
And you had a mandatory playing ability test at that time. You had to play in, and then playing out, you had
Do an
to
8-hour
shoot a
test?
certain score.
So
my gosh.
take us through the playing out, because I hear this a lot, and it comes up a few times here on the podcast. So like playing out, what does that mean? Like if you're going up to, say, a Class A or something like that, is that what that means?
Yeah, that's what
Okay.
that was. At the time, you had different ways to play out. You know, you could have a top finish in a tournament to demonstrate your playing ability. Like if you won a local tournament, then if you went out and shot a pair of 70s in a tournament, then, you know, you've demonstrated your ability to.
For sure.
But then they would have a playing ability test to get your Class A, to get eligible to write that test, and you had to shoot 152 for 2 rounds to qualify for that. So 76 or better at the time.
And where was it played? Was it
Usually local course, you know.
okay.
Yeah, be a local course, you know. Yeah. And to get in at the time, you had to be able to shoot 156.
Do you remember where you played for the?
You know what? I ended up being exempt.
Oh, okay.
Because I had a couple top finishes in the amateur, and then I ended up having I was lucky enough to have some good finishes as an assistant, won a few assistant tournaments and things like that. Nice. So I was able to get exempted. But, there's a lot of good guys that struggled with that because it sounds easy to go out and shoot, 76, 76.
Mm-hmm.
I go out with my buddies and I shoot 71 or 72, but
right.
It's different when you got a tournament when it's your career on the line, and you actually got to finish the putts and count the score. It's all pressure based, right? So
I think we've heard that before from other pros when you can always go low, but when you're trying to get to you have to get under a certain number. There's always a lot more pressure to that.
There's a lot of pressure, and it's evolved since then. Now it's been modified to relate to the modern aspects of the business today.
Right. Right. Young kids got it so easy these days.
Oh, everything. They got easy. Like they got YouTube and Instagram to learn everything from. They didn't have to go to the library and read books and
That's
stuff.
right.
Or actually work. I remember the first set of clubs I got from my dad was a 7-piece set of Northwestern Chichi Rodriguez's. I remember him bringing them home, and he says, "Here's your set. This is the first and only set I'm ever getting you. If you want to keep going with this, you know what? Figure it out. Go get a job." My dad was a pretty rough and tough old school Irishman, and it was. So I figured it out. I got jobs, paper routes, worked at the golf course, saved up to buy my golf balls and golf equipment and things like that. So it was a different era.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'm just trying to think. Do you remember how much golf balls were at that time?
You know what? They were still pretty expensive. They were still pretty expensive. I remember buying those Balata Titleists, and a sleeve of them at the time was like $8. Back in early 70s.
Okay, so that's
wow. The jar ball of Titleist would be $3-4.
Jeez.
Relatively speaking, equipment was more expensive then than it is today, for sure.
Yeah,
that sounded a good one.
Timmy's amped about something. He's
ready.
Amped about the price of golf balls in the 70s.
He's going to be playing indoors all year because he plays way better on that computer thing.
He's got cheat codes, right?
Yeah, exactly. He's the head programmer. He's the key holder for Fourth Line Golf.
Yeah, and also want to give out, I saw Stubby over there. Shout out to Stubby. There he is. Coached me in hockey way back when. And that's just who you find out.
Yeah.
And who you see here at Fourth Line Virtual Golf. Yeah, and look where I ended up.
Yeah.
But shout out to him. But you never know who you're going to meet here at Fourth Line. That's a beautiful thing about this. And you can have some fun, have some food, have some drinks, swing some sticks, and maybe get some lessons from you, Barry. So is that kind of your game now? Or are you still going to be an assistant, an associate pro, a head pro somewhere? Or are you...
I'll probably end up just being kind of a associate pro, kind of special operations. I call myself now. I kind of work. I work here and there. I try not to work too much anymore. And I still enjoy being around the club and doing a little bit of that. I've been helping out at Assiniboine for Glenn for a few years and that, but I don't want to go back into it full time, into the shop end of it. I still teach. I like teaching. I'm an old school pro. I'll be teaching till I die. I just like to do that sort of thing.
Like Sandy Kursiba, my goodness. 75, 70. I think he was just turned 75 and he's still going.
Actually, still pumping out videos.
Yeah, remind me. I got to get you some PGA dice. I
don't know what PGA dice are.
I know. Well, we're texting about that, and I still didn't elaborate on what PGA dice are, but I will show you.
I was assuming it was a sex game, but
I'm sure you could turn it into one.
I'm sure you could turn it into one.
Before we get further into that, so you get your card.
Right.
And you mentioned your shop there, which I want to know, what were some of the stops, the courses you were at? You mentioned your shop. Tell us a little bit about that.
Give us your LinkedIn history.
Exactly. Here. How did we get to today? We want to know everything.
Well, I ended up out in Vancouver for a while.
Oh, very nice.
What brought you out there?
Family moved out there, went to school a little bit, and then I came back one summer just to kind of hang out. Had no intention of staying. And then ended up staying,
Winnipeg Vortex.
Were you working in Vancouver at a course at all, or?
I was working at one of the first golf retail shops in Canada, Harris Conley Golf. Working for
Harris Conley Golf.
Yeah. Working for the legendary Ron Willey out there. He was a old school pro. He was a really good player, and he was a member. He was a head pro at Marine Drive there. And then he left the golf club business, and he was one of the first retailers, one of the first big box retailers. So at that time, there was a big that was like you were a pariah. Like if you left the club business and went off into the retail world.
Yeah.
Right.
We heard a little bit about that with Terry Hashimoto
Certainly,
when
yeah.
he stepped out and did that thing. Was that Caddy?
Caddy Shed. Or Caddy Shed,
Yeah.
Caddy Shed. And so he was like a pariah, running the first Harris
Yeah.
Conley golf shops. And there was a lot of different dynamics going on at that time. And he was quite a guy. Had a lot of interesting business contacts. And he had a lot of interesting contacts in Chicago, which weren't always golf people, but it was.
Oh, yeah.
He was a pretty cool guy, and he was unbelievable player. He was a Mo Norman disciple.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So he was a really, really. He played World Cup and stuff like that. This guy could really play. And
Maybe touch a little bit on Mo then,
Yeah.
because we hear Mo Norman's name come up. I know Sandy Kursiba mentions
Yeah.
Mo, Terry Hashimoto mentions Mo. I don't want to call you the older guard, but you're the older
Yeah.
guard now, and
Yeah.
a lot of those folks, those pros, grew up with Mo.
Yeah, he's legendary. He's still talked about in the industry. Like even the young guys on the tour still talk about him. And I was lucky enough to watch him play lots on the old Canadian tour, Peter Jackson tour that used to come
Wow.
through here. And as an assistant, did a few clinics with him. He put
Oh,
on
my.
workshops for us and that. And yeah, so it was pretty special. He was a different guy, like pretty different philosophy for swinging the golf club, but he was a savant and a genius.
Yeah.
And his swing is still studied today.
And
but
drank a bunch of Coca-Colas. And
He was a big Coke drinker. Yeah, he was a big Coke drinker.
that's why he had no teeth.
Talked fast, repeated himself, and the ball went straight as an arrow. Like he could do anything with a golf ball.
I forget who mentioned it. It may have been Sandy, but someone was shagging the range after one of Mo's tutorials. And it was literally within a 5-yard radius where all of his balls ended
Yeah,
up.
and that might be his driver. I watched him do an exhibition. He must have hit, 100 drivers, one tee. He had his big, pencil tee or whatever it was, 4 inches tall. The tee didn't broke. Tee was just sitting there, and he's whipping the ball off the tee. And he was hitting it any distance, any shape he wanted. Somebody said, "Oh, Mo, you can't hit the ball 300 yards with that swing." Next thing you know, the ball is over the fence. And that's with the old wound golf ball. And then, next thing you know, he'd hit his driver 220 and hit it like low like this, and he could pick off a jackrabbit with it. So
Amazing.
yeah, it was just amazing, and he's still fun to study. I do lots of posting on him, and I still study his swing and that, and it's just a very interesting guy.
We take a quick break to hear from Bryce Madlashewski, who is an investment advisor with Endeavor Wealth Management, part of IA Private Wealth, and a member of the Canadian Investor Protection Fund.
Well, Bryce, it's great to have you on and to have a quick chat. My first question is, what can an investment advisor like yourself from Endeavor Wealth do for me, and how can that differ from my current experience of trading with Wealthsimple, just based on the recent Twitter feeds?
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on, you guys. Yeah, discount brokers like Wealthsimple certainly have their place, but at the end of the day, you get what you pay for. Those platforms are very limited in what they offer, and they're more ideal for just basic trading. So if that's what you're looking to do, it's really not a bad platform for that. But what we do at Endeavor, we take a more holistic approach. We examine an individual's needs, both short-term and long-term, and we go way beyond just investments. We look for tax opportunities, ensuring the decisions you are making today minimize your overall tax that you might be paying. We also help our clients address estate and insurance needs. So really anything we can do to assist in your overall wealth management approach. And going back to some of those discount brokers and things that you see on the internet, a lot of times people don't realize the amount of intrinsic risk that they're taking on with making some of those trades. And so finding balance is another key thing that we do for our clients at Endeavor.
That was Bryce Madlashewski, who is an investment advisor with Endeavor Wealth Management, part of IA Private Wealth, and a member of the Canadian Investor Protection Fund. You can contact Bryce at 204-515-3446.
So you said Vancouver, then you got sucked back into the Winnipeg vortex, and you mentioned even opening up your own shop.
Yeah, I did eventually open up my own shop. I ended up, I came back here, and I ended up going to school, finishing off my degree, and then working. I started out working at Elmhurst Golf Club. working as an assistant for Laurie Pierce out there.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. You know, it's a great track. A lot of really good players out there.
Yeah.
So we used to play a lot of golf with a lot of really good golfers out there, and then spent a couple years out there. That was the early 80s, like way back. You know? Again, no internet, no cell phones, you know. And I can remember times too, like I was living on about $600 a month.
Wow.
With a buddy of mine in an apartment.
Yeah.
And you'd hustle up a little bit of money teaching, and there'd be times where you didn't have money for gas or food, so you have food, and I'd be hanging rides with the members to the golf course, you know, getting, you know, catching thumbs. Say, I'll meet you over here at the number 59 here, and I'll pick you up, take you to the golf course.
Right.
Buddy would give me a ride back, you know, so it was different times, and then spent a few years there, and then ended up actually came full circle and went back to Charlesville Golf Course and spent a couple years working for Bob McVicker there.
Wow, okay.
In the shop. Did a ton of teaching there and worked for Bob. And
I feel like that name's come up before, Bob McVicker.
He's a real class guy, like super nice guy. And he was a pro there for, 20, 30 years. And then worked for him. Started playing, I actually started playing pretty good golf right around then. I started winning a lot of assistance tournaments and started doing a lot of teaching. Spent a few years there, a lot of fun. A lot of really, you know, it's kind of like Assiniboine Golf Club, like really, you know, fun people, casual, 9-hole golf course. People used to kind of turn their noses up at the golf course because it's 9 holes and it's only Charleswood, but it was a great place to play.
Yeah.
You learned to golf your ball, and the people were a lot of fun.
Well, that's if I remember anything about that course, I don't think I actually played it, but it was tight. Right? It was tight, similar to Assiniboine, you know, relatively tight. I mean, you can't hit the ball over onto a few other fairways, and then small greens. So you really... Yeah. You had to know how to hit the golf ball. You had to strike the golf ball well.
Yeah, and it taught me to hit the ball long. You know, so it was tight, but it was fairly open at times too, so you could rear back and just rip it and go. And it was good. And spent a few years there, and then I was doing a lot of teaching at the time too, in the summertime. Really liked that, and doing a lot of that.
And then you said the hell with it, and you decided to open up a golf store.
Not quite yet.
Okay. Wow. How old are you? No,
not quite. Well, I am up there, but
it's all right. Yeah.
Ended up going to work at St. Boniface Golf Club for the legendary Jimmy Roy.
Okay. Jimmy Roy, okay.
Yeah, he had a winter golf school, which intrigued me because I like teaching.
Yeah.
That must have been one of the first ones.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It was crazy busy. Like
I think somebody else had brought that up.
Yeah. The winter golf school.
It was busy.
Yeah.
He would never tell you how many people were in that golf school, but there's thousands of people.
I'm assuming it was indoors?
It was indoors in the back shop area there.
Yeah.
Wow.
What kind of technology were you guys working with at that
Nothing.
time? Yeah.
Just your eyes.
A net?
You had a net, and then video was just coming out.
Yeah.
And we thought that was pretty amazing. Like, you know, you'd have the video wired up to the TV.
Yeah.
And you'd put the cassette into the cassette player, and then you'd tape and run it over there. And then you call the person back and review it, and we got to draw lines on the screen with a felt pen and a ruler to show them what was going on. So it was super high tech. And then you gave them the tape, the take home, the VHS tape or V8 or cassette or whatever it was, you know. So
then they just record over it with whatever they wanted to watch.
Yeah, you know, some TV show after.
Full House or something. Not even.
Bonkers. I remember it was Bonkers, wrestling, and actually maybe Full House.
MASH.
Yeah.
Anyways. Yeah. I got Turner Classic.
Yeah. And he was a good big retailer too. Like he had a big retail shop. It was a busy place, 18 holes. Again, kind of a blue collar course, fun, really cool people, good place to play. And I did that for about 4 or 5 years, and then ended up being the head pro at Teulon Golf Club.
Ooh.
I was out there for about 5 years.
So you showed Aaron Cockrell everything you know?
Oh, yeah. Everything. He wasn't even around yet then. But.
Yeah. Always that's a hidden gem. You know, I get up there maybe once every 2 years, but very
it's beautiful.
lush and it's nice out there.
Yeah, it was cool. I was their first golf pro.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so they were starting to transition from being kind of a rural course to being a little bit more modern and that. And
was it Cockrell's grandpa or something that had opened that?
He was involved in that. I knew his grandpa very well in that, and
I wish my grandpa had bought a golf course, opened a golf course.
Maybe he did.
Yeah.
Maybe he did.
Maybe he did.
Maybe he did.
Yeah.
You just don't know it.
No.
So then after that, Is that when you opened up?
Yeah, I left.
Okay.
I left Teulon after about. I was there for about 5 years. About 5 years.
Couldn't afford the gas money.
Well, I lived out there. We lived out there,
okay.
and
So that's being your wife.
my wife was
Yeah.
driving back and forth, and she was getting a little bit tired of that, and she said,
Also important part to the story, your wife.
"Yeah."
Yes.
So
Tammy.
I met her at a Assiniboine golf course. Actually, she was a member, and I was an assistant, and
That's a dangerous place. You're going to meet your future.
yeah, and at that time, it was. She'd asked me to play in one of their mixed two balls, which at the time was a big.
She asked you.
Yeah, and it was a big
Wow.
social event. And back then, you weren't allowed to drink on the golf course, right? There was no.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that was.
But
a thing
everyone
ever.
brought their own coolers. That was sort of what you did, right? And it was a big party scene. And but at that time too, as a staff member, you weren't really supposed to interact with the members, right?
Oh, okay.
Especially dating them.
Oh, right.
And she asked me to play in this thing, and at first I said no because I was busy teaching, and I'll have to check with my boss Jimmy Roy to make sure that this was copacetic and all that.
Yeah.
And
copacetic, good word.
yeah, and
That's a library word.
Yeah,
One of
that's
the-
a big one, eh?
We'll put that on a T-shirt.
And I checked with him, and then he says, "Oh no, you got to play," because my wife at the time was kind of one of the up and coming players at the club, and I was one of the top assistants playing that time. And he says, "You're one of the top players in the province. I think it's important that you kind of start to groom her along." Well, I didn't know she had plans for me grooming me.
She knew what she was doing.
That's how we met. But we've been married 35 years,
Wow.
and I've been in the business probably about 40 years. So.
Yeah, and she's a player too.
Yeah, she enjoys playing. She's a low handicapper. She shot the ladies' course record. I think this was years ago at Carmen. She shot 67.
Wow.
She won the ladies' amateur at a late age, and she was almost 40 when she won the ladies' amateur, which is pretty cool. And
That's amazing.
She's won the seniors 4 or 5 times, and
And then Rhonda Orr showed up.
yeah,
Right.
exactly. Rhonda's a terrific player, and she's won it. I don't know, like 100 times or something like that. But
We got to get Tammy on the pod.
No
yeah,
kidding,
so she's. And she was still working at the time, so she was driving back and forth when I was at Teulon.
Yeah.
And she kind of came to me at the.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks, Dave.
The Silver Fox.
Thanks, Dave.
Just come and ask for the Silver Fox. Never fails.
I was drinking one of them fourth line lagers.
Yeah.
He had a Bud Light,
I'll
I think.
do a fourth line too. Might as well fill it up.
Thanks,
you.
Dave.
Dave, that's awesome.
Great service.
Wow. And he's got very soft hands.
Yeah.
Great hands.
He's got great touch on
Great
it. You should
feet.
see him on the golf course. His touch is unbelievable.
In the bar. Barry taught him everything he
Yeah,
knows
he's got the Samson probably.
to figure it out. Like,
Yeah.
hey, we're just going to go into the basement of
Yeah, there was a
a busy business building,
and there was a
away we go.
little corner spot sitting there. It used to be I think it used to be kind of the stock exchange place for the Richardsons, where they used to have the ticker tape
Oh,
up there,
no
and the
way,
boys
wow.
would come in there and look at the.
Yeah.
So that space got vacated, and we went up and we pitched the Richardsons on, let's rent it and turn it into a golf shop. And they were golfers, and they thought, that's
yeah.
great.
Yeah.
So they gave it to us for next to nothing on a trial lease.
And then just started buying stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically I had about $5,000 in my pocket and my credit cards. So I started going to Callaway and Titleist and loading up the shop, and we had this little shop that was maybe half the size of this area here, 500-600 square feet,
Wow.
and started selling stuff out of there.
Amazing.
And we had a hitting bay in the back too.
What
teaching.
was it called?
McGibby's Golf.
McGibby's
McGibby's
Golf.
Golf.
Yeah, McMillan and Gibson. So it was McGibby's
wow.
Golf. And, yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah. That's amazing.
And then in 3 years, we took it from doing like, I don't know, $200,000-300,000 a year to about $1 million a year in retail.
Shit.
And we expanded, went next door, went to about 4,000 square feet.
Whoa.
Had some good times there.
Yeah.
Teaching in the back, retail. Did a lot of business with Terry Hashimoto then. Jazz was right across the street in the exchange.
Right,
They had
manufacturing,
had
yeah.
Oh, really? They had manufacturing downtown there?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So they'd be bringing over 10 sets a day for, custom fit jazz clubs for people. And,
Oh, man.
Yeah, so it was a lot of fun.
You got some pictures from back then?
Yeah, I do.
Have
yeah.
to share that with
Yeah.
us. We
Yeah.
can,
Yeah, for
we
sure.
can
Put it up
post
there.
it.
Yeah.
Put it up there on the over 50. And I know Mike gets real horned up over the over 50, the content.
I do.
And it's understandable because
Yeah.
you put out some great content.
Yeah,
Well,
thank you.
Yeah, and I don't think I had realized it. And that, I was like, oh, this guy looks familiar. And then
I only seen him at Assiniboine every other
day. And then we had a chat there,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
blown away by what you guys do with your Instagram and your YouTube.
Queen Bee's walked in, by the way.
I think
looking for somebody.
She's looking for us.
Yeah. He's in the back room. So over 50 golf, yeah.
How do you? I mean, I think JR and myself are still struggling to figure out social media and YouTube. We're just lazy.
Company. I still haven't figured it out.
You did. I'm sure we can figure it out. We're just lazy. But you got over 100,000 views on one of your videos on YouTube.
Some of them got over 1 million.
Over 1 million.
Yeah.
You get one of those YouTube plaques?
Not yet. I'm working on that.
We know some people at
You're generating some revenue off of that.
Yeah, we're generating. It's modest, but it's
modest.
Modest.
It's fun.
You said like $600 a month or something.
Yeah, it's up there. But there's people that
can pay my gas to get to Teulon every day.
CRA doesn't know that.
No, they don't know that.
Oh shoot!
Actually, the American government does though, so they keep trying to Google.
Right.
But yeah, there's some creators doing pretty decently on it. But we're building it, and it's kind of a fun sideline. I got into it late. Like, I grew up with no internet. I was one of the last guys on the planet to get a flip phone. My wife was on me for years. Like, when are you getting a phone? I said, what for? So I can track you down.
Right.
So, and I can remember, I didn't even know what Facebook was at one time. Not even 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And young guys in my shop telling me, you got to be on Facebook. I'm going like, what the frick is that?
Right.
And I wasn't into it at all. And then
now look at you.
Now I'm into it full time, growing it. And
how did how do you learn all that? You just kind of get into it and.
Got into it. Our company, Over 50 Golf, we started was.
So you and your wife, Over 50 Golf.
Over 50 Golf. She retired, and she started. She retired pretty young. From the government.
Okay.
And she wasn't ready to stop, just go to the golf course every day and hang out. She still wanted to do something, but on her terms. And we got into the Over 50 Golf thing probably from about 45 on. I was having some really significant health issues with my back. And mobility, like really bad stuff, like herniated discs. I was having trouble walking.
Was there an incident, or was this an accumulation of?
Probably accumulation of just lifestyle.
Okay.
Standing on my feet, working lots.
Yeah.
Living a nice, large lifestyle. Like eating lots, drinking lots, not looking after yourself the way you're supposed to.
Right. Yeah.
And then I blew my back out. Had lots of issues. Had really, really bad pain for. Like Tiger Woods sort of stuff, were really bad pain and could barely walk. Never mind swing a golf course. Daily pain. They were talking about operating and telling me that you'll maybe have like a 50% chance of being in a wheelchair, and I said no thanks. I'm not going to take that. And then we kind of just stumbled into this therapy called block therapy.
Yeah.
Which is a Winnipeg-based company. We were at. Her brother's place for Christmas Eve, and I was in terrible pain. And his girlfriend at the time had this block of wood there. And said, you're supposed to lie on this for your back, and it's supposed to be great. And I said, are you, like, a piece of wood? Like, are you nuts?
Block therapy.
Block therapy. But I was so desperate and in so much pain, I got into this. I met the founder of it, Deanna Hansen, and got into it and I started doing this, and within about a few months, I totally changed my back, my problems, my lifestyle, got rid of all the pain, started feeling good again, was able to start playing some golf again, and kind of got into that. And then my wife got into it. She became an instructor. She was so fascinated by what was going on.
Instructor
for block therapy. She's a block therapist, and she kind of got so fascinated by my recovery with it, and she got into it. She's more into it now than me because she's the therapist, and then we kind of just gradually incorporated that into a business. Like, we're older.
Well, you're over 50.
I'm well over
50
I'm over
golf.
60. It's going to be over 70 golf in a few years. But
you look like you're 55.
Oh, at least. I got 50.
You look kind of like
well,
the
look at me
Silver
drinking the
Foxes.
Heineken Zero in the water.
That
I'm
is a
an
very
athlete.
good non-alcoholic beer,
Yeah,
by the way.
it is.
The
It's
Heineken
great.
Zero. It's very good.
We got to rethink our lifestyle here. But I was looking at the over50golf.com and I saw the block therapy.
So we use that, and she got into the fascia training. She's done all kinds of this training and yoga for golfers and stuff. So we started. So that's sort of our target. We're older golfers. I like helping the older golfers, so we got into that for fitness and mobility.
But still, I can't. I like it's got to be good for even people. In their mid, for
anybody,
any age, right?
Any age.
Yeah. I should found your niche in over 50 golf, but really, it's helpful for longevity.
Yeah, it's
age.
about health and mobility.
Yeah,
and it's cool to play better on the golf course, but it's really cool when you can help somebody live a little bit healthier and get rid of nagging aches and pains, and kind of go like, geez, you know what? I feel really good too.
Yeah.
So that's what we're into with that. So,
but the block therapy, so like you said, it's a block of wood, but with that block of wood, you're doing exercises.
Hopefully it's sanded and varnished.
Yeah.
What kind of wood is it?
Actually, you know what? They're using reclaimed
spruce or
reclaimed Winnipeg elm now.
Balsam.
Reclaimed Winnipeg
elm, and it's
legitimately.
Yeah.
Wow.
Since COVID, this company, it's just like a Winnipeg success story. Unbelievable. She's a world leader now in fascia release and health, and it's based right out of Winnipeg, and they're selling it all over the world. And
would you use the block to pressure on pressure points or
different points in your body, your hip flexors, your chest and shoulders. So you're doing
it's almost like yoga with a block or with a tool, maybe. I'm not sure. I don't do yoga.
What I found for me,
do yoga.
I've done so much therapy over the years. I can open my own clinic.
Yeah.
I know more than the physios and the chiros because I've done so much, and all that stuff it's awesome stuff. It's really, really awesome stuff what these people do, but nothing was working for me because my skeleton was so out of line and my fascia was so out of line that nothing would take. So after I got into this block therapy and started realigning my fascia and all the skeleton, suddenly all these exercises that I was doing, I suddenly felt like doing them. Mm-hmm. And they would actually start to work for me now because my body was realigned.
And then you started winning more golf tournaments.
Oh yeah, I'm just a force on the golf course. But
I thought you did though, didn't you? Didn't you win something or come close? I thought there's like a PGA senior.
Yeah, the PGA senior. I finished second and fourth in that, and.
No big deal.
No big deal. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still competitive. I still like to get out and play with the young guys and compete. I still feel like I'm going to win a tournament next year.
Wow.
Confidence. And usually when I go to play, I'm the oldest guy in the field.
Yeah.
So it's great to get out there with the young guys. And they're really good players, these young guys.
And a great head of hair, too.
Yeah. I got that from my mom. Got that from my mother. And actually, when my dad passed, he didn't have a stitch of gray hair on his head,
No way.
So
he was 45.
Yeah. No, he lasted pretty long for an Irishman. He lasted till he was about 78, so he did pretty good,
But it is phenomenal. Again, you check out our link tree. You'll find over 50 golf in there.
Yeah.
And it'll take you to the YouTube page.
Yeah.
And we'll also put a link there to your website. But the content on there is phenomenal. We talked about Mo Norman a little bit. There's some Mo Norman content. Yeah. You put some Lee Trevino content. Yeah. I have an old DVD from Lee Trevino from back in the day from high school. I got it. I think I may have lifted it from the Dale Esipenko golf shop.
Yeah. I did.
Way back when.
Yeah, Dale was a great guy. I knew him too. Well, did a lot of business with Dale too as well. So.
Yeah, just a legend. Legends of the industry here. And it's great to have you here at Fourth Line. And now coming full circle, you were teaching here at Fourth Line. And coming from someone who, was in the library reading books, what can you take from the GC Falcons and the data that it produces from a swing? What can you take from that and bring into your teaching?
Well, when we started, it was all, based on the books and the feel, right?
Okay,
and there was no science to it. And players were talking about, this is what we feel happening in the swing. And sometimes those feels weren't necessarily what was actually happening.
Right.
So.
But I guess it doesn't really matter. It's kind of because we know a lot of golfers who are feel golfers. I think, Mike, you're more of you may have been more analytical now, but I know like Mooney, there's some guys who they'll just know a number and hey, I know what this is. I'm going to do this, from Team Lefty. And I got into the analytical side of things. But now I've kind of moved back the pendulum to the feel
I think
side of things.
Yeah, I don't think the feel side of it will ever go away. It's just that I find with the science now, it kind of supports the feel, and it helps players understand what they're doing.
Yeah.
So I could say, look, you're coming at this thing from 10 degrees out in, and the club face is open. This is how the slice is. This is what's causing your slice.
Yeah.
Okay, let's try this.
And you can see that here.
You can see that here because these
Yeah.
sims are great. And then say, okay, let's incorporate this change into your swing so that you can feel it, and then you can go see the results. So now you can incorporate that into what you're doing, so it actually enhances your feel. But the two work together, for sure.
Yeah.
And I think what's going on in the industry now is great with all the all the force data, pressured plates, and the high-speed 3D and all that. It's taken it to a whole level of science.
Sounds like you're Terry Hashimoto.
I'm not quite there, but I am up to date with that stuff. I do study it and help incorporate that into what I do, but you still can never get away from the swings of yesteryear. The great players like Mo Norman, Ben Hogan, Sam Snead, Jack Nicklaus, like these guys dug it out of the dirt, and they were obviously doing some pretty good things because they played to a pretty high level.
Yeah.
Right? So you can kind of bring the two together.
It would be so interesting, and maybe it's something that AI can generate, but just to take, say, like a Jack or a Ben or a Sam and put them with today's equipment and technology and just see what they
it would
could
be
do.
like scary. Like Nicklaus could hit it any distance. Like he set the world long driving distance record in 1964. With an old tourney ball and a 42-inch persimmon driver. He hit it 345 yards.
Wow.
And that stood for
With inflation, that's about 700 yards.
Yeah, that stood for how long? Before it got broken. And think about this. Bobby Jones was swinging. He stayed with hickory shafted clubs all through his career.
Mm-hmm.
He hit the ball 260 yards with an old golf ball and a hickory shafted golf club. So imagine what that guy would do with a modern equipment in his hands.
Yeah.
Like that was pretty scary. So some of these players, and Sam Snead, could hit the ball any distance he wanted to, 300 yards or
interesting.
more. So,
I forgot to mention this, but in passing, I went to Pinehurst 2 weeks ago.
And
so I played Pinehurst number 3, which is a Donald Ross course, and you can one of the things that's big there is you play with the hickory shafted clubs. You can rent hickory shafted clubs and play.
That's coming back.
And it's a 50. So number 3 is a 5,200 yard course. So it's shorter than the other 10 courses.
In case you missed it, Mike went back to Pinehurst.
The second time.
The second time this year.
Second time this year. It was beautiful. Yeah, it's unbelievable, like you said, Barry. You said you had heard that it's unbelievable. It is unbelievable. It was kind of a wet day, but played the Cradle twice. That's the par 3 course. Mm-hmm. We weren't staying on the resort, so you can only play number 1, 3, and 5, and the Cradle, which is the par 3. So got to play the Cradle twice, and then played number 3. As it's often coined number 2's little brother.
Okay.
And so classic Donald Ross greens, turtle back, false fronts and all that fun stuff. Lots of waste bunkers everywhere, and I think we got lucky because it was raining, in that our balls would stick a little bit when we would hit them.
Okay.
And then
Mike was attacking pins with the hickory.
Pretty well. Well, I didn't have the hickory.
I know.
The featheries and the hickory here. I laid it in there.
The featheries, the feathery golf balls.
We were just in the area. We made a wrong turn at Flagstaff, and so we rented clubs. Titleist T350s.
Okay.
Pretty nice.
Yeah.
With the club rental, you get 6 free Pro V1s.
Oh, that's
I was
smart.
Like,
wow.
That's $40 right there. If you
The clubs were $200 to rent, though, probably.
No, they're $80.
Wow.
$80
really
to rent. US.
Still pretty good deal.
So $200. And I only lost one. And there's houses that line the course there, but it's a nice course, and they clean up all the roughage. So if you're in the trees, you're hitting out of the pine straw, which is fun. I got good pine straw practice.
Just
it's a par 68. just a shorter course. So it was fun because I have
we are very jealous.
My
the other
bum,
two at the table are very jealous.
My bum knee, and we had the course to ourselves. Like there's nobody out there.
How cool is that?
It was great. Yeah. It was unbelievable. So go to Pinehurst, and the Cradle was neat. You know, they're playing music when you're out there, and you can have drinks. You often see videos of people barefoot, or they give you 3 clubs. You don't even play with your own clubs most of the time. Like they just give you a little Sunday bag with a putter, always a Scotty, and some wedges, and you just kind of figure it out. It's like, okay, that's 54, 52. I think I had an 8-iron or something. Yeah. Longest hole is 120 yards, but most of them are under 100. But
well, can you play Timmy G? Can you play Pinehurst number 2 here? Yeah, can you play Pinehurst? Yeah, he's going to look into that, and we'll come back to you later.
Cool. Yeah, we'll find out. Send us an email, Tim. Anyways, Pinehurst number 3 is great. I think number 2 is available.
Yeah, so you can play Pinehurst number 2 right here at Fourth Line Virtual Golf.
Should do that right now.
Wow, that's crazy. Well, the bays are
Scrap
full,
the rest of the interview.
Yeah, we're done.
Barry's going to give us some lessons.
Anyways, that was a pretty good tangent off of hickory shafted clubs, but and I was with a guy I work with, and I was like, we should rent hickory shafted clubs. And he's like, no, you're crazy. Like, that's not even fun. I don't know. I'm sure it wouldn't be fun. It would be tough. I don't know.
It'd be cool to do that. Like, there's that trend going back to that whole hickory shafted thing is growing. And
Matt Simmons,
big hickory shaft guy.
Yeah.
The Featheries.
From Whitewater out in Thunder Bay.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun, and it puts a lot of feel back into the game, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I would like to maybe give that a try, just to get that feel. And is maybe coming back to your teaching, do you get a bit of both, or do you find that there's more field golfers, or maybe there's more analytical golfers now because there's so much data to
it's more field. It's still field based.
Still field, okay.
Yeah, it's still field based. The data is great to quantify things, but you still got to swing the golf club.
Yeah.
You still got to put the club face on the golf ball, right?
Yeah.
So you still need the feel for the movement, and sometimes you use feels that aren't quite technically correct.
Right.
Right, but it gets the person to do the correct thing. That's what feels about, and then you can quantify that with the data.
Right. Well, myself, I have no understanding of how my body works. Where most, Jordan, I think you do.
A little bit,
and some of you can talk
Fair.
about, okay, I'm doing this. I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing. And somebody teaching me, they're like, what'd you do there? I was like, I have no idea, but I did it decent. So it's tough, and there's different students, I'm sure, as you've noticed. So there's
everybody moves different, and that's the whole thing. And I think that's one of the biggest things I've seen in the industry that I think is probably the best is the functional movement screening now for golfers.
So what is that?
Well, really, Titleist have kind of popularized that with TPI, Titleist Performance Institute, where starting
and
from
you're certified in that, aren't you?
I'm certified in that too. Did
they give you a card?
No.
What about a laminated piece of paper?
Yeah, I've got a piece of paper up on my wall in my studio downstairs.
Sorry.
But yeah, where there's no one swing, right, that works for everybody, because everybody moves differently. And you see that when you watch the golfers on TV, where they all do kind of the same thing, but they move differently.
Right.
Right. And so it kind of came out of one of the Dr. Rose, who started it, he was a chiropractor. Right, so he came from the functional movement side of things, assessing people how they move to deal with their injuries.
Right.
And he was a golf geek. He loves golf, and he's a fantastic golf researcher, and it grew from there. And
like
so it
Spears.
So it makes sense, right?
Dr. Spears, Dr. Robert Spears.
So to assess people for how they move, where your backswing is short because maybe you've got tight lats or a bad shoulder. And
have you seen me swing?
Yeah, it's okay.
I do have a short backswing.
Yeah, we both do.
Yeah.
We've been known for that. We're the John Roms.
So if you don't know that, then let's say you go for a golf lesson and guy goes, "Oh, your backswing is kind of short. That's the issue. We got to lengthen out your backswing." And then you go to try to do that, and it's physically impossible for you.
Right.
So then you've got no chance. Right. So it does help you understand the movement of how that person is moving and assess their motion and what they can do and can't do. Because I won't do a lesson without assessing somebody first, just to get an idea of No, it's not like a 4-hour assessment and putting you on a computer and all that. We just put you through some basic movement screens so I can tell what you're doing.
So take us through that then, maybe, of how you would start your assessment. So say if I just signed up with you to get a lesson or lessons, say here, how would it start? And where would we build from that?
Well, the first one we would start with an assessment in terms, talk about your game.
Okay.
Right, get you to loosen up, get you to hit some shots, talk about your good things, some of the bad things, some of the things you want to improve on. I'll use some video. We won't really I wouldn't pay too much attention to the numbers right away, just to get an idea of how far you hit it and what your general pattern's like. And then do a functional movement assessment so on some of the key areas of how you're moving, and then correlate that to what's going on in your golf swing. So one of the most important aspects of it is the ability for players to separate their lower and upper body when they swing the golf club. So that they can rotate properly going back, rotate properly coming through.
All right.
Yeah. Most people have trouble with tight shoulders, tight upper chest, low back, and hips are super tight. So you get a lot of problems in the golf swing.
I feel like I'm being attacked here.
Yeah. I'm just using my professional observations. So you do the functional movement assessment and then review the person's swing with them on video and say, look, here's what's going on. Here's what you want to work on. Here's what I think you can do. And let's kind of put a plan together to work on that. So the first session is basically, it's an assessment in terms of discovering, right? It's a discovery call. Find out what you can do and then build the plan from there.
Spoken like a true sales professional.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, let's touch on this then. What's the best or maybe most important golf tip or tips you've ever received, or maybe you could relay to, say, someone who's low, mid, or high handicapper?
Well, I think one of the first tips I got and the best was from Tommy Chester, that old Scottish golf pro, and I'd be floundering around on the range hitting shots, and he'd come up, he'd be teaching there, and then he'd come chat with me afterwards, and he says, the best thing you can learn to do is hook the golf ball.
Right? So, all right.
Learn to hook
draw.
it. Learn to draw it, learn to hook it, and it took me a while to figure that out, because he didn't tell me right away, like how to do it. He'd come back and give me little snippets as I go to kind of feed me, right, and teach me a little bit. But basically, it taught me to kind of how to load the golf club properly going back, and then how to release it and let it go and hit it. Most people don't do that very well.
Right.
They shovel at it. They keep their hands. They keep the club open.
Yeah.
They swat at it. They never really release the golf club properly.
No. I don't hook a lot.
Yeah.
No.
Sometimes you do.
Yeah.
JR.
I do a lot of that. That's my big mess.
Yeah.
But we're working on that.
Or
we can
pull.
talk to Barry
Not
maybe
hook,
after.
maybe
We
a
don't want to
pull.
talk about
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Yeah, it's a big pull.
I shouldn't.
So that
Should
was
be.
one of the best tips I got. Releasing the golf club, and learning to draw the ball. And I got a lot more consistent after that, and I started getting a lot longer by doing that.
Yeah.
All right. Good to know.
Yeah.
Hookers will make it a lot longer. Mike, did you have any more?
I got a few things.
I know I could stay here forever.
Teaching aids.
Yeah.
I think some of the stuff we see in your Instagram reels.
Yeah.
What are some of the random teaching aids that you have? Because you got the big fan thing there, and then did you have a broom? I'm not sure. We joked about brooms earlier.
But I heard brooms are a good thing. Brooms are bats, like baseball bats.
Really?
Yeah, yes and no. A shorter broom would work, but the alignment rods are great.
Right.
Basic teaching aids, you can do lots with them. Go to Canadian Tire or Home Depot and buy those driveway markers for $4. They're fantastic. You can do a lot with those. Rope, basic heavy rope. Learn to swing the rope properly. Teaches teaches you to move from the ground up.
You have a teaching studio in your home?
In my basement.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you got a virtual setup
Yeah, I've
there?
got a sim set up there too.
Nice.
So
what are you running? What are you running there? What are you running under the hood?
flight scope.
Flight
I
scope.
run a
All
flight
right.
scope. Yeah.
Okay. I think somebody else had that as well. Is that a stand behind? Like it sits behind?
It's a radar. Yeah, it's a radar that stands behind. So that's a functional setup. So it's a teaching aids, impact bags, simple stuff, right? Ropes, alignment sticks, stuff that
All the
teaches you some
standard.
feel and motion sort of thing.
That's good.
Yeah.
Incorporate some different things there. I also read that you were the Golf Manitoba president at one
Yeah,
point.
that was way back when. That was back in the 30s or something.
The 30s.
The dirty 30s.
That was
You're
back-
200 years old.
Yeah, I served on the board. Actually, I served on the Manitoba PGA board in like 3 decades. So started off as an assistant president of the Assistants Association, and then was on the board as an education director, and then finance vice president, and then was served as president. I think that was around 210 or 211 sort of thing. Yeah, back then.
Cool.
So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then a rules official. We are still looking to get the rules official on
What's his
there.
name now? Well, we'll find him.
We saw him at the Golf Manitoba dinner there. But, yeah.
was he PGA or is he non-PGA? There's quite a few rules officials.
Golf Manitoba.
He's the Golf Manitoba rules.
Gord Hudson, maybe?
No,
or-
Gord was, and then
Yeah.
now it's like Dean or something. I don't know.
We'll
Well, I can find it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
we'll
find
plug it
now.
in right here.
Yeah, I'm gonna find
Actually,
it.
my wife is a level 3 rules official, too.
Really?
There's levels.
Yeah, oh,
Okay,
yeah,
so what does
yeah.
that mean? What does that get you if you're level 3?
Like karate.
Well, certain like level 3, you can do local tournaments and things like that.
Yeah.
And she did some of that. And then there's like level 4 and 5 for doing like the national events and the
What level?
PG
You were ahead, or were you were? What level are you?
in rules.
Yeah.
I'm at the cheater level, so I never.
Okay.
No, I never really got I would have been probably level 3. I never really got certified fully, but that was part of our training and the apprenticeship. So
What is the role of that in a tournament? Are you following players throughout like an amateur, or you're being consulted? I'm sure you got a good radio.
yeah, they're managing the conditions of play. Unfortunately, most of it now is focusing on pace of play,
Right.
which is a huge problem.
Is it
in golf.
enforced a lot? I mean, it doesn't seem like it's
It
enforced
should
on
be
the
enforced.
PGA a lot.
It should be
but-
enforced more.
And then the LPGA, I
David,
think,
not Dean. It was David.
David
Borowski.
Oh, David Borowski, yeah.
Borowski. Yes.
Yeah, he's the executive. Well, he's not the executive
The
director,
rules-
but he's
rules
the
and-
tournament director
Yeah.
for them. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But
Yes.
most of their time is spent now on pace of play, unfortunately.
Right.
But they're available for rulings. A player gets himself into a situation and unsure how to proceed, so they got to know the rules inside and out.
For sure.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, those were the last two. I did have two more things I
Yep.
forgot to mention about
Oh, yeah.
Pinehurst, the
Yeah,
Cradle.
you got some great notes
I got
here.
some good. So guess what the
Let's see if
course
Barry knows.
record is at the Cradle? It's a par 3 course.
Par 3 course.
18,
Yeah.
18 holes.
No, it's 9 holes.
Oh, 9 hole. 9
It's
hole.
9
Cradle.
hole par 3 course, but you can play it as much as you want. You pay
18.
that's a good guess. That is correct.
Is it actually?
And
18.
at 18.
So
I
birdie
think he
every
had
hole?
two.
Wow.
No, he had 2 holes in ones,
Oh,
and then
jeez.
a bunch of birdies, and then I think he parred the last hole or something. He was all mad.
Wow.
But there's
amazing.
a big board outside of the Cradle starter hut there, and it has all these records. And then most consecutive holes played, 505.
For not, how? Wow. How many days?
I don't know. You would think,
Wow.
yeah,
Trying to
that,
do the math on
That's
that.
impressive.
Hey,
that's
sir.
wild.
What's
no kidding. Yeah, no kidding.
what's 505
And then
divided
the
by 9?
fastest round was 6 minutes and 43 seconds, and which is wild.
Under a minute a hole.
This place is the footprint of this is, it's you think of Crescent Drive or some par 3, but this is shorter than that. And most of the holes are under 100 yards. There's a couple that are over, but I don't think I could even, without playing golf, I don't even know if I could run it in 6 minutes.
That's pretty impressive.
And somebody golfed it in 6 minutes, 43 seconds.
That guy should be doing training for golfers on pace
I
of
think
play.
so.
There you go. There's a solution.
Exactly.
Speed golf.
Speed golf.
exactly.
Yeah.
What's your quickest round?
I think 2 hours for 18 holes.
2 hours. Yeah.
Wow, were you in a buggy?
Walk.
Wow.
So
Walk's always faster.
I prefer walking. I will ride in tournaments, but I prefer walking now. And there was a time where I couldn't walk,
Walking's
but now I'm
good.
back into that. So I'm really getting into that. But
You're getting into the old walking thing.
carrying the bag, and the game has gotten too slow. That's one of the biggest problems with the game. So
And then are you still playing hockey or doing anything like that?
very little.
Yeah.
Very
Are you
little.
skate though? Sometimes.
I haven't been on the skates in years. So, yeah.
Same.
Yeah, well, you'll get back there next season.
Next
When you
season.
can get
I'm more into lots of walking now.
No, watch.
Yeah,
lots of walking.
I like walking too.
And blocks.
Yeah.
And blocks. Maybe I need to get some block therapy.
Yeah, block every day. So do my stretches every day and block every day like a good boy. So I feel better because of that. So
Well, you're
right.
looking at.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I got 1,000 more questions, but I won't drag this out too long.
Yeah.
But we got the. We can move on.
Okay, well, let's get into the back nine lightning
Unless you
round.
wait, did you have anything?
No, that was
Anything further? Any stories you wanted to tell us before we get into our back nine lightning round?
none that the public need.
I was
going to
say,
so.
yeah. Let's not get
I've had a lot of fun over the years. So.
All right, well, we will get into the back nine lightning round, and it is for Bryce Malashewski, who is an investment advisor with Endeavor Wealth Management, part of IA Private Wealth, and a member of the Canadian Investor Protection Fund. You can contact Bryce at 204-515-3446. You can also find all of his info in our link tree. As well, you will find some over 50 golf information and some fourth line virtual golf information in our link tree. Just go to our Facebook, Instagram, MySpace, whatever, and click on that bio, and we'll be there.
We'll be there. I haven't heard from Bryce.
And our golf shop.
We have a golf shop.
Yeah, Redbubble.
It's at Redbubble. They're just.
Yeah.
It's a good hosting site where you just upload your logo and then they print stuff for you, such as this shirt, which nobody
all
can
there.
see because this is an audio podcast, no video.
No bids.
Though Timmy did offer to video us, and we said no. So,
Yeah, we said
I'll
we
have to get some info on that.
we didn't
'cause
shower today. We smell great, but we didn't shower today.
We're talking about some different stuff. My wife.
yeah,
and I,
it's
so,
easy. You just upload your image, and then people can just buy it from there. Right now, they got great sales going on. So,
Yeah.
from our listeners,
My mom bought a sweater, I think.
Did
I don't
she?
know. I think she did. Yeah, I
Sweet.
don't know if you're going to see that come up in
yeah, I
this
get
thing,
a 20% commission on that. So.
Oh, shit, I should have started my own.
No, but yeah, it's good. It's easy. I mean, we could get a bunch of T-shirts printed and that, and we've done hats and.
Nice.
But it's tough. We don't.
Yeah, I think we're almost out of hats.
We are almost out of hats. Hats are on sale. They're Black Friday sale.
Yeah.
$30 each. I think we got 4 left or something.
Yeah, we got some. I think we have a blue rope and a red rope.
Yeah.
Or two. Yeah, blue and a red rope.
We got
for
2.
me.
I got 2 blues and 1 gray.
All right.
Anyways, we got some hats.
I'm going to take your gray because I sold my gray.
Okay. JR keeps selling the hats right off his head.
Off my head, literally off my head. It's the third one this year.
Game worn hats. He signs them. Anyways, Barry, you got a nickname?
Gibby.
Gibby.
Yeah.
Gibby, yeah, that makes
That's
sense.
what I got here. Gibby, BG,
BG. Yep.
Gibbs. I don't know. Is Barry short for anything, or is that your just?
No, that's the name.
That's
Barry,
the name. Yeah, Barry.
It's with an A, not an E.
I didn't think.
That's the Irish spelling.
yeah.
I see. Have you ever got a hole in one?
Yeah, 2.
2?
Nice.
30 years ago, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, haven't had one since, but been close.
Where at? Charleswood?
No, first one was Desert Dunes in Florida. It's actually first game of the year. It was like in February.
Okay.
Played, and then I got one that summer in a tournament at the Pine Ridge. Flew an 8-iron in the hole on the 14th hole.
Wow.
That
Easy.
summer. And haven't,
Easy game, yeah.
easy game. Haven't had one since though. So
That's good.
Need more block therapy.
that's right. Or play more. Probably play more.
How many rounds you get a year right now?
You know what? I probably play maybe twice a week now. Yeah, so maybe 20
good.
games a year. Not counting tournaments.
Okay, so that's not bad.
No, not too bad.
Yeah.
Oh, Dave.
Sure.
We'll do one more.
One more.
We're just gonna sit here all afternoon. We're not even actually.
Yeah, we're not
We're
recording.
not recording
No, we're
anything.
just
We're just saying.
talking.
I'm just
talking.
kidding.
We're drinking.
Yeah. Put it on our tab. Shout out to Dave.
Again.
Great hands.
Great hands, great feet.
What golf ball you play?
Titleist.
Titleist. Pro V.
Pro V1. Been playing Titleist since 1972.
Yeah. We didn't ask what's in the bag.
Oh, yeah, we didn't. What's in the bag right now?
It's Titleist.
All Titleist, yeah.
Titleist driver, irons, Vokey wedges, and the putter is in and out based on the mood,
Oh, yeah. You got a good collection of putters.
Yeah, too many. They work for about a week and then they're garbage. So I need to practice that a little bit more. So I'm going to focus my next content on YouTube and Instagram a little bit more on putting. So
All right.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's where I need help.
Yeah.
Wow, everywhere. Are you back? Are you back at the Assiniboine sometimes? You were there. Are you there?
I never
next
know.
year?
I never know from year to year.
Right.
Likely, day or two a week.
Yeah.
Help Glenn out a little bit here and there. So I'll see what happens.
Yeah. Can you beat Glenn on the golf course? And mop the floor with
At
him?
times. He's a pretty good player. He plays lots, works on it. So
Right.
yeah. So
Okay. We got to do it. You got to do a big YouTube match.
there we go.
Oh, there we go.
That'd be fun. That'd be fun.
Wow. There you go. There's an idea.
There we go.
We'll get some drones.
Yeah.
You got any video drones?
Dave will be
We
able
got
to
to
do
work
that.
with. We got to.
Wow.
I saw a DJI.
Soft hands. Wow. Thank you so much, Dave.
Thank you. There was a DJI drone on sale. I was gonna buy, but we're getting away from. What's your favorite course to play in Manitoba?
Probably Falcon Lake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Good track.
Yeah. I was looking. I was commenting to Score Golf. There, our friends at Score Golf.
yeah.
They come out with the top 100 courses, and then they have a top 60 public courses. But it seems like Manitoba never makes it on there. I think Falcon was the best affordable course or something. It had made the list a couple years ago.
That's a great track.
Beautiful.
Beautiful golf course, old school. Just
our friend Dave Turner, right?
Dave Turner. Yeah, we still got to go
He's
out there
the
and play with them.
superintendent there. Keeps it in fine shape. You got a bucket list course in Manitoba you've never been to? I'm sure you've been all over the province, but
you know what? I haven't played Granite Hills yet, so
No way.
I
Wow.
want to get out
okay.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take us. We'd like to get
Yeah.
beat up for, a good 4 hours,
Yes.
5 hours.
I haven't been in a while.
Yeah.
Ditto. Supposed to go
I
up
know.
there with AI.
Oh yeah,
'Cause he's got a
he's got a
cottage
compound out there.
compound. Yeah.
He's got the Ireland estate
Oh, yeah.
up
Yes.
there and
Got to get the
the boats and
the ice
the
fishing
fishing.
shack up there.
He's invited us a few times, I think, and we've just we just
Life.
turned
I
our
mean, he's pretty busy
turned
now
our
too.
shoulder.
He's pretty busy now too. He's making airplanes. He's pretty busy.
He is, yes.
He's making airplanes.
You got to fly. Most memorable course that you've ever played? Sounds like you've done some golf tourism.
I would say probably Kapalua in Maui. Spectacular.
Yeah.
Yeah, just spectacular.
What's so great about it? I don't know a lot about it. It's obviously on the ocean.
It's right on the ocean. The elevation changes. You're looking
Is
out
it?
into the ocean. You're watching whales jump as you're hitting
Right.
the ball and stuff.
Wow.
It's just spectacular views.
I mean, you get some pretty spectacular views here at Fourth Line Virtual Golf. It's mainly the people, not so much.
Yeah. Dave looks great.
The rest of them I'm not too sure about.
Queen Bee. Queen Bee looks great.
Yeah. I've never been to Hawaii. I think I'd like to go. Would you been?
We should go. We should do a golf tour there.
We should. We'll get the plane up.
Yeah, 12 grand. DM us. We'll make it happen with Bryce
Yeah.
Malashewski. He'll sponsor the trip.
Oh, yeah. He'll come. I haven't talked to Bryce in a while. With the exception of Augusta, what would be your bucket list course? Or you can trash Augusta and say, I never want to play Augusta.
No, I think I'd like to play Augusta, but I probably want to I would like to get out to Pinehurst.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
And
I've been there.
Twice.
I'd like to get out there. Royal County Down in Ireland.
Yes, very much so. I think that's
okay.
on my list as
We
well.
heard
That comes
the Irish.
Yeah.
Royal County Down. Is that coming up on the Rhoda soon? Maybe on the Open Championship Tour
I think next year.
next year. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I don't remember a lot, but for some reason that's sticking in my brain as maybe an Open Championship. Yeah. I was gonna say, Pinehurst. It was almost, The elevation changes are very sneaky there as well, and you don't see this. And
Yeah, I
even
wouldn't have thought that.
taking pictures of the greens, they were just undulating as a Donald Ross would, I think. And but some of those fairways just sloping, just flowing through the.
It looks really, really cool.
Yeah.
Like, it looks really cool.
And the Scotch pines.
I've played Torrey Pine South, and that's pretty good too.
Yeah.
Good views over the ocean and that, over the
Torrey
cliffs.
Pines South.
Yeah.
Is that the one that they play on tour?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And it's a public course too,
It's a
isn't
public
it?
course. I remember playing there in the 70s for $5.
$5?
$5.
It's like it's
now
a muni,
like,
right? It's a municipal course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
La Jolla?
San Diego, La Jolla County, and that.
But
But now
just
it's
north
like
of San Diego. San Diego.
it's probably $300-400 around now. So
Whale's vagina.
Yeah.
Was that right?
San Diego.
Anyways, career low round.
Career low in a tournament, I think, was 64.
What?
Yeah. I
Where was that at?
think it was at Niagara in a pro-am.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Nice.
All right.
Yeah.
Did shoot 64 in
Decent.
the Bone Pro-Am one year, too. And
Was that the ESO Pro-Am?
the SO, that's sort
Holy
of, doesn't
shit.
count, though. That's sort of,
Wow.
that's
Why
a bit
does
of
it
everything
count?
there.
Why
It's
does it
good
count?
fun.
It counts.
Yeah, it's
Score.
good fun.
Score
The
is a
Royal
score.
Assiniboine
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good fun. That's a good place.
was
Yeah.
coined that by Queen
Yeah.
Elizabeth.
Yeah, she came here before she died just to
Yeah.
anoint it
Yeah.
royal.
Yeah, Niagara ate JR and I up a little
Oh,
bit.
shit. We got to get
earlier.
back there. We've got invites again.
Terry James.
Terry James.
Raising Cane. Went to
Yeah.
Raising
And
Cane.
Jason Nickel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Raising Canes.
Jason Nickel. We got to get
Yeah.
him on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he
you should
wants
get
to come
Jason
Yeah.
on.
He's a
He's a
beauty.
member at NACWA, too. My wife and
is.
I are members at NACWA.
Okay.
And
Oh,
that's
wow,
a good
all right.
track. And yeah.
Well, we'll all play together. We'll do
Yeah,
the
we'll
we'll
get
do the
out there.
fivesome.
Yeah.
Okay, here's one. My wild card here. Hypothetically speaking, if one of your over 50 clients had a sore front knee, like an ACL, MCL tear, what kind of swing techniques would you teach them to avoid injuring that again, or
How would they rehab?
how would they rehab it? Yeah.
Which one? Left or right?
Left front. So I'm
front?
hypothetically,
Hypothetically,
right-handed swing with a left
have to-
knee injury.
We'll probably take a look at your ankle mobility and your hip mobility.
Yeah.
What's causing that?
Oh.
And probably
Bend over.
And probably, well, that's maybe later on, second lesson. But
Depends how much you pay,
there
Mike.
could be something going on up in your neck vertebrae too. Related.
Really?
Yeah. It's a
Holy.
connected chain.
I got to
so-
get the block
Yeah.
on.
Mike
Yeah.
has been known to have a stiff neck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, good. Yeah, no. I still tweaked my MCL.
Yeah.
ACL.
How'd you do that? How'd
It
you
was
do
the
that
ACL, I think. I think the ACL is still injured, and I got an MRI in like 6 years
Yeah.
booked. So, we'll
We're
see
seeing
those.
a lot more of those with people with the rise of pickleball.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
See, I thought pickleball was the safer option. Oh.
And
all right.
Achilles, lots of Achilles
Yeah.
injuries.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
The Gilhooly
Oh, the Gilhooly. Shout out to Rob
Gilhooly
Gilhooly.
injury.
It's competitive pickleball, and people are pushing themselves.
Do you
and-
play?
No, I won't go near it.
No.
You've seen the war stories.
I'll focus on golf.
I've never played myself. It looks fun.
Yeah, it is fun.
It's
Yeah,
great, yeah.
Flagship question of the back nine
Yeah.
lightning round. What is your favorite condiment?
Favorite condiment?
I mean, you seem to be a pretty
Any
healthy
sauce,
guy,
you
so I don't know.
Or, whatever you put on anything, really. It could be.
I kind of like the smoking 757 14,000 million Schofield hot sauces.
Oh,
and
wow.
All right.
I'm a bit addicted to that stuff.
No way.
Yeah.
You should have brought some. We
Yeah.
would have tried some.
Yeah.
I love the hot sauce.
Just like McDonald's.
I like the
there.
ones where you get the warning label on the back where it says you got to sign this waiver before you take it because we're not responsible if you die. I'm going
Right.
like, okay, this is going to be good stuff.
And just sweat it out. It almost gives you some sort of like a energy boost when
Sure,
you're
for
eating.
sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
it does. It's good for the libido, too.
Oh, yeah. Is
that right?
FYI, yeah.
Or it's great after 12 beers. It kind of gets you going.
You heard it here.
Yeah.
Barry's advice.
One of my
Just take
one of my older tips. I don't do that anymore.
take some Schofield. Get the Schofield in you.
Yeah. This isn't hot ones. This is 18 over par.
Good. Well, yeah. No, that was about it.
All right. Well, then that was the back nine lightning round for Bryce Matlashewski, who is an investment advisor with Endeavor Wealth Management, part of IA Private Wealth, and a member of the Canadian Investor Protection Fund. You can contact Bryce at 204-515-3446. Barry, this was awesome. I want to get into a bay with you, get lubed up, and go swing some golf clubs
Yeah.
and see what happens, because you seem like you're one of the hidden gems here of Manitoba, even though I know a lot of people have seen you on YouTube, etc. Again, you can find him in our link tree as well. Just go to our Facebook or Instagram, click on our bio, and you'll find more on Over 50 Golf. You'll find Bryce Matlashewski. You will find our store, all the good stuff.
Yeah.
Do you do groups? Group lessons?
Yeah, we do group lessons and do corporate stuff too as well.
Yeah.
We do a lot of clinics and things.
I get my
and
boss. I mean,
Yeah.
we got to get to this guy. We got to get to Barry.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun.
He's a
And,
magician.
no, thanks for having me on too. It's been a blast, guys. You know,
Oh,
it's
well,
always
yeah.
fun to get on, talk
We've
some
talked
golf, be
for
down here with
almost
Fourth
90
Line.
minutes.
We could be down here for 10 more beers, maybe. We could.
We will be. You can come find us here at Fourth Line Virtual Golf again in God's Country, St. James, corner of Ness Ave and Sturgeon Road. People here are fantastic. Barry's here. He will teach you everything you need to know about life, golf, and blocks.
There we go. Right on.
And if he can't, his wife will. But
Yeah.
thanks again to Timmy, Lenny, and Todd for getting us in here to Fourth Line Virtual Golf. They got the pub next door. It's always a fantastic time down here. It's packed. It's loaded here. And now we will finish these beers, and shout out to Dave, the Silver Fox, who's been serving us all day.
Great hands.
Great
Thank
hands.
you.
Great hands.
And,
Thank you, Barry. And
Thank you, guys.
I'm going
Been
to
a
reach
pleasure.
out for some lessons.
We'll
and
get together and we'll
Yeah,
have
we
some
got to
fun.
do it. We got to
Right
do
on.
it. But yeah, you can, again, if you want to get in touch with Barry, just go to our link tree, Instagram, Facebook, click on that bio, and you will find his link right there, him and his wife's link, Over 50 Golf. All right, well, thanks again, and we'll chat with you next time. Let's go drink some beer.
Right on.
Have
Thanks,
a good
guys.
day.
And you can count on me waiting for you in the parking lot.